This is a book review of Influence by Robert Cialdini. Take a look at this front cover. Which techniques do you think that Robert Cialdini has used to help sell this book? One of them that should have stood out is this 5 million copies sold at the very top. This is an example of how Robert Cialdini is trying to use the principle of social proof. That is to say, when we think that things are popular, have sold many millions of copies, people have millions of subscribers, meals on restaurant menus have been bought lots of times, they're the most popular dish of the month. Many studies have shown we're much more likely to buy in ourselves. So this is the principle of social proof. What other aspects, which other techniques do you think that Robert Cialdini has tried to use on the front cover of this book? Another one is the appeal to authority. So he has put down PhD on the front cover of this book to give this book the air of authority, to make it seem as though, he is a highly educated, erudite, scientific professor, and this helps to convey the idea that this man knows what he's talking about. He's an expert. He's also quoted Charlie Munger, who was the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway for around 50 years, with Warren Buffett at the helm of that incredible company. And once again, this is an appeal to giving a sense of this book is really something that you should read. It's being encouraged and promoted by people who clearly have success. And so the two techniques are appealing to authority. In the book, he talks about how we're much more likely to accept and submit and just take for granted, take as fact people perceive to be in authority, politicians, scientists, even little things like wearing uniform, which conveys, power, responsibility. We're much more likely to believe what they say. Other principles he talks about in the book include reciprocity. He talks about how we have an innate desire to return favours. So he says this is something that's observed across cultures, regardless of where the study takes place. The principle of reciprocity. So when somebody gives something to you, you have an inclination, an innate desire to give back, to return the debt, return the favour. And he talks about how in restaurants, the restaurant's owner giving customers chocolates at the end of the meal has been shown to increase the tips that people give, in return. And many marketing and advertising companies, often they will start by giving you something to try to tap into our nature, which is always to feel like the debt needs to be repaid. We've got to give back. Evolution comes up a lot in this book, talking about how these techniques have evolved. So, for example, the need to reciprocate, to cooperate, to work to our mutual beneficial survival and working together clearly has evolutionary benefits, and so companies can sort of exploit almost. One of the great things about this book is that not only can it be used in a positive way to try to increase the reach of your particular product, to improve when it comes to marketing and advertising and of selling things, can also make you more mindful of some of these techniques that are often used to exploit us in a subliminal way. Some of these techniques that he talks about in the book, we're not always consciously aware of them, but little things can actually guide us and influence our behaviour. even without us thinking about it. So social proof, authority, reciprocity are some key principles that come up. Another one is commitment and consistency. So studies have shown that if a company can get someone to commit verbally or in writing, they're much more likely to follow through, even when it's not really a good idea, even if they don't really want to buy the product. If they can just get the person to say that they are going to purchase, or they are going to volunteer in some way, the person, because we have an innate need not to want to break our commitment, we want to be people of our words, again because trust is essential. We have an innate need to want to be trusted by people, because in evolutionary terms this is important to cooperation and working together in social groups. That some companies can exploit this just by making us say we are going to do something, even that prevents us from changing our mind and increasing the probability that we'll follow through with a particular purchase. There are some other principles as well. One of them is about scarcity. So often you see, on a TV advert, limited time only, special deal, only for the next 30 days, buy while stocks last. All of these verbal techniques, they're trying to tap into the nature of humans, which is to be risk averse. Daniel Kahneman actually showed that gaining £10 is much less impactful than losing £10. We're very much loss averse, and it's much more painful to lose than it is to gain. So playing with the idea of scarcity and competition, got to get in there, got to be first, must get it before it runs out. This can manipulate our behaviour to get us to be more likely to do something, to buy something that we don't even need just because it seems rare, or seems like it's going to be once in a lifetime opportunity, And so again, marketing companies can exploit this tendency within us. Other principles include unity. Robert Cialdini talks about how we're much more likely to give, to forgive, to have favourable views towards people perceived to be in our in-group, so people from the same area as us, people of the same political persuasion, people that belong to the same religion, people that support the same football team. Unity and groupism can affect our thinking process and our behaviour as well. And the idea of we, us, that can be used as well as a technique to try to guide people, steer people in a particular direction that has key behavioural influence in the world. Those are the main principles. There are 7 in total. So unity is one, scarcity is another, authority, social proof. The other one is liking. So we're much more likely to want to give, to want to buy from people that we like, and that from people who are like us. He gives an example of a car salesman who had an incredible record of selling cars, and one way he did it was to send postcards to customers, telling them how much he liked them and how much he valued their custom, and how much he wanted them to have a great car and to do business with them. He gave the impression that the customers believed him. They thought that he genuinely liked them, and therefore they trusted him more, and they were much more likely to buy cars from him. So all of these techniques you can read about in this book. As I say, the scope, the breadth and depth of knowledge that he cites, so many different reports, so many different papers, incredibly scientific, it's objective, It's based on an attempt to be as clinical as possible. You can really learn a lot, and this book isn't just useful for people in marketing or sales. I would say that it's useful in general because it's talking about human behaviour, and as I say, it can help you to be more mindful, to be more aware that these techniques are being used by companies to try to get us to buy stuff we don't need, and possibly exploit and manipulate our behaviour to their advantage, not necessarily ours. So it's a great book because it keeps you alert, and might help you bring the best out of other people as well. If you can incentivize people around you to give their best and to do their best and to work cooperatively with people, it might be possible to set up win-win situations, win-win relationships. So I'd say it's an excellent book to read. I'll give this a 9 out of 10. Go and check it out yourself on Amazon. Thank you for watching.